You're exhausted, aren't you? Not just physically, but deep in your soul, carrying an invisible weight that presses down on you like a relentless shadow. You feel it, even if you can't pinpoint why. It's the burden of trying to keep everything in balance, pleasing everyone, avoiding conflict, being the kind, understanding, polite person you were taught to be. From childhood, you were conditioned to believe that being a good person is the ultimate virtue, that goodness always triumphs, that kindness will be reciprocated, that fairness, honesty, and humility will earn you a place of honor in the world. But what if this is a lie, a comfortable, insidious lie designed to keep you docile, predictable, and controllable, a pawn in a game you didn't choose? How many times have you stayed silent to keep the peace, erasing your own needs to avoid disappointing others? How often have you endured disrespect, manipulation, or exploitation, only to smile, say, "It's all good," and swallow your tears, your anger, your pride in the name of some supposed virtue? Each time, you believed you were doing the right thing, but all it did was make you invisible, ignored, and undervalued. The truth is brutal, and it's time to face it. The world does not reward the nice guy. It rewards the strategic, the assertive, the powerful. If you're reading this, you've felt this truth in your bones. You've been frustrated, drained, and diminished by trying to be the good person, the understanding friend, the selfless colleague. You've given everything, only to be used, discarded, or forgotten. You're starting to see the pattern. The more you strive for acceptance, the less you are respected. The more you give in, the more others demand. The more you sacrifice, the less you are valued. This is where Niccolò Machiavelli enters, not as the villain history often paints him, but as a relentless realist who dared to expose the raw mechanics of power. Machiavelli didn't write the Prince to preach malice. He wrote it to unveil the rules of a game where pure morality, untethered from strategy, is a trap. Being seen as good is not the same as being effective, respected, or free. In this expanded manifesto, we'll strip away the masks and illusions, diving deep into why you must stop trying to be the nice guy and awaken to a new way of living. This isn't about becoming cruel or cold, it's about shattering the childish dream that the world is fair and that virtue alone will bring rewards. It's about learning to wield power, set boundaries, and command respect without betraying your essence. If you're tired of being a hostage to your own kindness, it's time to learn from Machiavelli and seize control of your life. Let's embark on this awakening. The lie of the nice guy, a world that punishes naive virtue. Look around you. Who holds power, influence, and respect in your world? Are they the most generous, the most compassionate, the most just? Or are they the strategic, the assertive, the ones who refuse to be manipulated? The truth is harsh but undeniable. The world is not governed by kindness, it's governed by utility. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago when he penned the Prince not as a guide to villainy, but as a manual for navigating a world where appearances, influence, and impact outweigh intentions. One of his most piercing lessons is this: being good is not enough. In fact, being good without strategy, without boundaries, can be the fastest path to irrelevance. You've seen it in your own life. You've poured your energy into being loyal, kind, and understanding. You've helped others without expecting anything in return, believing that your goodness would be recognized. But the moment you cease to be useful, you're forgotten, replaced, or silenced, often without a trace of guilt from those who benefited from your sacrifices. The world doesn't measure your worth by your morality. It measures you by what you deliver, by the space you command, by the consequences you represent. The nice guy is always chasing approval, justifying their worth, proving their value, while those who set boundaries, say no, and assert their presence are the ones who are heard, respected, and remembered. Consider the story of Cesare Borgia, one of Machiavelli's most admired figures. Borgia didn't earn respect by being endlessly kind. He earned it by being strategic, decisive, and unafraid to wield power. When he needed to secure his territory, he acted with precision, not hesitation, ensuring that his presence was felt and his authority unquestioned. You must adopt a similar mindset. Blind kindness is seen as weakness because it poses no threat. Those who never confront, never challenge, and never demand are not taken seriously. They're seen as resources, not individuals. You can exhaust yourself trying to please, but without power or consequence, others will use you without hesitation. As Machiavelli wrote, a leader should not seek to be loved, but to be feared. If forced to choose between the two, this isn't a call to cruelty, it's a recognition that true respect stems from the perception that you are a force, someone who cannot be trampled without repercussions. ### The psychological prison. The roots of your need to please. You weren't born with an innate desire to please everyone. That urge was taught, conditioned, and reinforced over years. From childhood, you learned that acceptance came at a cost. You were told to smile when you didn't want to stay silent when you were angry, to prioritize others' comfort over your own truth. Don't do that. It's rude. Your parents said, be nice. Your teachers urged, you're so polite. They praised when you complied. Little by little, you molded yourself to fit the expectations of others, believing that this was the path to love, security, and belonging. But no one told you the truth. This conditioning is a trap, a psychological prison built on poisoned compliments and subtle punishments disguised as guidance. Imagine a cage not made of iron, but of expectations, each bar forged from the fear of rejection, the need for approval, the dread of being seen as bad. You learned that showing anger, setting boundaries, or prioritizing yourself was selfish, unacceptable, a betrayal of the good person you were supposed to be. So you adapted, suppressing your desires, silencing your voice, and wearing a mask of kindness to survive. But survival is not thriving. Today, that adaptation has become submission. You struggle to say no without guilt. You feel responsible for others' happiness, even at the cost of your own. You swallow frustration, forgive too quickly, and exhaust yourself maintaining an image that isn't even yours. This isn't kindness, it's fear. Fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear of not being enough. Your so-called empathy is often just a fear of confrontation. Your understanding is a fear of being alone. Your kindness is a mask, an unconscious strategy to shield yourself from the pain of disapproval. But this mask comes at a devastating cost. It suffocates your authenticity, erodes your power, and diminishes your dignity. If you don't remove it, it will fuse to your identity until you no longer recognize the person in the mirror. Imagine a lion tamed to act like a lamb, pacing in a cage of its own making. That's you, trapped by the expectations you've internalized. The good news, there is a way out, and Machiavelli's wisdom lights the path not to cruelty, but to clarity, strength, and self-sovereignty. Machiavelli's truth, the power of perception over pure time. Machiavelli was not a cynic. He was a realist who saw humanity without rose-tinted glasses. In The Prince he wrote, everyone sees what you appear to be, but few feel what you really are. This is a brutal unmasking of the illusion that being true, pure, or authentic is enough to earn respect. People don't judge you by your intentions, they judge you by your appearance, your image, your impact. You may be the most just person in the world, but if you seem weak, you will be treated as weak. You may have the most generous heart, but if you don't inspire respect, you will be ignored. This is why the prince ends here. The prince is you. Anyone seeking to take control of their life cannot afford to be naive. You must appear virtuous when it serves you, but be strategic when it's necessary. Machiavelli's metaphor of the fox and the lion is a masterclass in this balance. He wrote, the prince must know how to use the nature of the animal well. He must be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to terrify wolves. The fox is cunning, seeing hidden dangers, moving silently to avoid manipulation. The lion is bold, imposing fear, strength, and presence. Machiavelli doesn't say to be one or the other, he says to be both. Be wise enough to perceive who is exploiting you, and strong enough to make them think twice before trying. This isn't about abandoning your values. It's about refusing to let them be used as shackles. As Machiavelli warned, a man who wishes to act in all circumstances like a good man is doomed to ruin among so many who are not good. You've lived this truth. You've tried to be good in every situation, only to face abuse, silence, and injustice. The world doesn't play fair, and if you continue to act as if it does, you will always lose. Consider the example of Queen Elizabeth I of England, a ruler Machiavelli would have admired. She was compassionate and just, yet she wielded power with surgical precision, balancing diplomacy the fox with decisive action the lion. When faced with threats, she didn't hesitate to assert her authority, ensuring her enemies respected her strength. You must adopt this dual nature. Be kind when it aligns with your purpose, but never let kindness be mistaken for weakness. Your virtue is not the moralist's naive goodness, it's a blend of courage, intelligence, audacity, and self-control. It's the ability to act with cold clarity when necessary, to know that sometimes appearing formidable is the only way to maintain order, not out of malice, but out of wisdom. The myth of submissive kindness, redefining virtue. There's a fatal confusion that destroys countless lives. The idea that to be good, you must be submissive. That being a good person means accepting everything in silence, forgiving without question, and swallowing what bothers you to maintain peace. This is not kindness, it's naivety. Cowardice disguised as virtue. If you don't understand this distinction, you will remain the emotional doormat of the world, trampled by those who exploit your willingness to please. True kindness doesn't require you to nullify yourself. It demands awareness, clarity, and choice. Being good doesn't mean being a cheerful fool, always available, always smiling, always sacrificing for those who wouldn't lift a finger for you. That's not generosity, it's self-abandonment, emotional dependency masquerading as morality. Naivety believes that people will treat you with the same heart you offer. It expects gratitude, reciprocity, and fairness, but the world is not a fairy tale, and projecting nobility onto others only leads to frustration and disappointment. True kindness is firm. It knows how to say no. It knows when to walk away. It understands that not everyone deserves your best, and giving your best to those who offer nothing in return is waste, not virtue. You can be just, compassionate, and integral while still being feared, respected, and commanding. Machiavelli didn't hate virtue, he hated naivety. He knew that in a world full of predators, kindness without strength is like fresh meat in a jungle. Ask yourself, is your kindness protecting you or exposing you? Is it strengthening you or destroying you? If your idea of being good involves swallowing injustices, accepting crumbs, and blaming yourself for feeling anger, you're not being good, you're being dominated. There is a middle path, a balance where you don't have to abandon your essence, but also refuse to kneel. This path begins with the courage to stop deceiving yourself and the strength to reclaim your voice, breaking the chains. How to stop being nice without losing yourself. Many who awaken to their own submission fall into a trap. They believe the only way to stop being nice is to become cold, insensitive, or cruel. This is the rebound effect. After years of being exploited, you think the solution is to become the opposite, tough, indifferent, calculating. But this is another prison. Abandoning your essence doesn't strengthen you, it's just another form of denial. Trauma disguised as power. True liberation happens when you learn to be whole, when you stop acting for others and start acting for yourself. It's not about being good or bad, it's about being real, about looking in the mirror and knowing you can be kind but never passive, compassionate but never permissive, generous but never begging to be seen. Here's how to stop being nice without betraying who you are. 1. Recognize your voice matters. You've been conditioned to believe that complaining, setting boundaries, or disagreeing is selfish. That's a lie. Selfishness is expecting you to stay silent while others walk over you. Speaking up, saying, "I don't accept this," is not arrogance, it's dignity, it's self-respect. Start small. Voice a disagreement in a meeting, express a need in a relationship, or challenge an unfair expectation. Your voice is your power, use it. To master the art of saying no. Saying no is one of the most liberating acts you can perform. It doesn't need to be aggressive or shouted. A calm, firm, non-negotiable no carries more weight than 1,000 justifications. It communicates that you have limits, and those with limits are respected. Practice in low-stakes situations. Decline an invitation, refuse a request that doesn't serve you, or set a boundary with a colleague. Each no is a brick in the fortress of your self-respect. 3. Observe the resistance to your change when you start asserting yourself. Some will push back, calling you different, strange, or selfish. These people are the thermometer of your progress. Your submission was useful to them, and your transformation threatens their control. Don't be fooled by their discomfort. It's a sign you're breaking the invisible pact that allowed them to exploit you. Stand firm and watch how quickly they adjust or fade away. Stop seeking universal approval. Not everyone will understand your transformation, and that's okay. You don't owe loyalty to the image others have created of you. Your loyalty is to your truth, your peace, your emotional health. Let go of the need to be understood by all, and focus on being true to yourself. Those who matter will respect you for it. Those who don't will reveal their irrelevance. 5. Commit to authenticity over acceptance. Replace the desire to be liked with a commitment to authenticity. When you act authentically, you may displease some, but you'll attract the respect of those who truly matter. More importantly, you'll respect yourself. Authenticity is a magnet. It repels the unworthy and draws in those who value your strength. Start by aligning one action each day with your true desires, whether it's pursuing a goal, expressing an opinion, or prioritizing your needs. Machiavelli didn't write to teach you to be cruel. He wrote to teach you to stop being naive. The greatest naivety is believing that being nice is enough to be respected. It's not. It takes courage to abandon the role of pleaser, strength to be who you are without asking for permission. Imagine a warrior not swinging a sword recklessly, but standing tall, choosing their battles with precision. That's the path you're embarking on, a path of strategic kindness, where your compassion is a choice, not a chain. The final reckoning. Choose freedom over approval. It's time for brutal honesty. How long will you keep pretending to be the nice guy, sacrificing your energy, your voice, your dignity to maintain an image that isn't even yours? Do you think this is virtue, nobility? It's a prison, a psychological and emotional cell, decorated with false compliments where you're applauded for being harmless, predictable, and unthreatening. But here's the truth no one else will tell you. No one is coming to free you. No one will thank you for your sacrifices, hand you the respect you deserve, and say, now you can rest. As long as you're willing to be used, there will always be someone ready to exploit you. This isn't malice, it's reality, and reality doesn't bend to good intentions. You can continue being the good person society has conditioned you to be: calm, patient, understanding, always available, always saying yes, but prepare for a future of frustration, resentment, and invisibility. Or you can wake up, you can decide, here and now, that your kindness will no longer be a collar around your neck, that you'll act with intention, presence, and firmness, that you'll choose when to be generous and to whom, that you'll stop giving what you don't receive. Stop seeking approval, like a beggar pleading for scraps. The truth is simple. The world respects those who respect themselves, and you will only be free when you stop asking for permission to exist. Picture yourself as a fortress, once open to all, now fortified with walls of self-respect. Those who once walked freely through your gates will now face your terms. Some will leave, unable to exploit you any longer. Others will stay, drawn to your strength. This is the power Machiavelli envisioned, not cruelty, but sovereignty. Reflect on this. When was the last time you said no without guilt? When did you put yourself first without apology? When did you act for yourself without worrying about others' reactions? These moments are the sparks of your liberation, the first steps toward a life where you are not a tool, but a force. Machiavelli's wisdom is a call to action. Stop being the nice guy who fades into the background. Become the prince of your own life, cunning as a fox, bold as a lion, and unapologetically authentic. The journey is just beginning, and the choice is yours. Will you continue to sabotage yourself with naive kindness, or will you claim the power, respect, and freedom you deserve? Choose wisely, for in this choice lies your destiny.